It's the Tony Tone Show on Vintage Sound 93.1 FM. I love going to movies. I'm a fan. We have the Palms movie theater right down the street from the radio station, and it's my favorite place to be to see a movie and get together with friends and family. A lot of good experiences around going to the movies. I also enjoy when I get the chance to talk to people who make movies, and this is wild. On the MPW, Mocklink, TV, Internet, Fiber, Celebrity Hotline, director Colin Trevorrow. This is the guy that directed movies like Jurassic World, and he's going to take on the next Star Wars movie that will come out in 2019, and he's on the radio with us right now to talk about The Book of Henry, which is a brand new movie that you can see real soon. So let's grab him. Colin!
Hello.
Buddy, my name's Tony. You're on the radio in the great state of Iowa, and I just want to say...
I love Iowa.
You do? So you?
Yeah, I used to live in Wisconsin. I lived in Madison for a little bit, and I had a good friend who lived in Cedar Rapids, so I would go visit him.
Oh, my gosh. So we're like 45 minutes from Cedar Rapids.
It's a great town. I remember, like, one of the weirdest things. You'd think that, you know... he was in college there, and I remember we went and saw some concert, and it was everyone was just giant robots. It was like one of the weirdest things I've seen in America, and it was in Cedar Rapids.
Oh, well, I'm glad that you have it's so good that you have an Iowa connection and a Midwestern connection. So are you a Wisconsin Badger fan for life then, or no?
Sure. I moved there. I followed a lady there. I was in love with a lady,
nice.
And I moved to Madison, Wisconsin right after college. I was in New York, and I lived there for a year, and it was definitely one of the highlights of my life. I loved my time there.
So, Colin, my wife and I were watching TV the other night. Both our kids had gone to bed, and the trailer for The Book of Henry hits, and we're watching it, and then it has like that twist in the trailer, and it ends, and I look at my wife, and she just goes, "Nope," because we have a 5-year-old named Henry. So that her reaction was like, I don't know if I can see a movie where the main character's name is Henry, considering I have a 5-year-old that's asleep upstairs. And I said, well, don't be silly. I mean, it looks like a fantastic film, but it's just such I don't know if I believe in karma or what. Like, we just saw the trailer, we had the conversation, and then here you are on the radio. So
here I am.
Yeah.
Well, I think I just want to get out, and I hit a lot of cities during last week's because I feel like a lot of these films come out, and you go to New York and you do your junket, you go to L.A., and you never really get out and talk to the audience that you're making the movies for.
Right.
So I went to Cleveland, I went to Minneapolis. I'm sorry I didn't come through Iowa. I went down to Dallas. And it was great to see people react to this movie, to respond to this movie, and it is a movie for parents. If you guys are parents, it's something that is deeply connecting. It's kind of a coming to parenthood movie because you don't quite become a parent the minute your child is born. And I certainly didn't. It kind of takes a second for it all to settle in, and sometimes it takes years. And it's just about Naomi Watts finding her compass in a really challenging set of very suspenseful events that happen.
Well, I'm a Dean Norris fan, so seeing him again just in the trailer so far, I like him as an actor, but I feel like I'm not going to love him in The Book of Henry.
He's a bad man in this movie.
So
bad.
It seems like, Colin, the challenge for people in your profession is originality, because we go to the movie theater, and it's a lot of reimagined projects. They're doing another Mary Poppins, and I'm not discrediting it. I enjoy it, but with an original film based off of a script that's been kind of sitting around for 20 years, or screenplay, I should say, The Book of Henry is so refreshing. I mean, talk about that. Like, that's a challenging part of your job.
Well, it's important to me. I feel like, because I'm responsible for some of those movies that you're talking about, I feel like I need to go and make something, pretty aggressively original like this to keep the audience coming to the theaters. Because if we just keep showing them the same thing again, they're going to stop coming. There's such great television. I mean, you watched all of Breaking Bad.
Right.
And so this movie it's important to me just because I've made new versions of the things we all love, like Jurassic World, and because I'm about to do that again. I just want to show people who I am, what I think, what I believe in, and I genuinely believe that this is something that's going to be able to entertain people all around the country, and in a way that that a lot of movies don't, because I think it has values that we can all share in a time that it's kind of hard to pinpoint what those could possibly be. But I think this movie does it.
How important is it, and this is kind of a nerdy question, but since I've always wondered, like, how close of a relationship do you have to have with a cinematographer? Because the trailers that I've seen for The Book of Henry, it's a beautiful looking film. So you obviously can cast a vision based on the screenplay, cast the roles, everybody's kind of gelling together. But is that cinematographer crucial to what eventually we will see on the screen with The Book of Henry?
Absolutely crucial. And my cinematographer, John Schwartzman, he shot Jurassic World. He's going to shoot Star Wars Episode 9. And he shot a lot of, he shot The Rock and Armageddon and Pearl Harbor, like a lot of movies from back in the 90s that were just pretty rad-looking movies. And but also like Seabiscuit and Saving Mr. Banks. And he's so versatile. And we shot the movie on film. And I think that might be something that people are responding to specifically, and that we don't see it that much anymore. And even when we do, we see it overly processed. There's a lot of digital layers laid onto it. And this is just pure 3-perf 35mm film, and by doing it, it feels like you're being, it looks like your memories almost, because we used to see movies shot like this.
I don't know for sure because I haven't seen it yet, but I plan on seeing The Book of Henry. It seems like you're friends with Jake Johnson. Does he appear in this or no?
This is this is the first movie I've had without Jake Johnson in it. It would be kind of distracting for him to show up. Right. But I do have another friend who's been in all 3 of my movies and is convinced that they're in a shared universe because he's in them.
I love that. Did you think, and I don't want to dwell on it, but Jurassic World made $1 billion. When you were making it, I mean, Chris Pratt's fantastic. He seems like the coolest guy ever. Did you think, like, we screened it here on the Thursday, the premiere, and there were like over 150 people in the theater in small town Iowa. Did you think it was going to do $1 billion? It's crazy.
It did $1.7 billion.
Oh my gosh!
That movie went nuts. And I think it's a combination of how much people love that franchise and being able to feel like they're kids again for a moment. That, to me, if I was going to pinpoint one thing that made it work as well as it did, is that the world is so complicated and so scary right now, and I think we all kind of wish we could go back to our childhood when things were simple and things were easy. Yeah. And I feel like that movie just took you back there for 2 hours. You could forget everything that was happening around you and just enjoy it. And that's what its mission was. And I feel like we pulled it off.
And then obviously the responsibility of Star Wars. I mean, I'm assuming there's stress with it. But I don't want to talk about these projects. I want people to go see The Book of Henry, but I would be remiss if I didn't ask, where are you at in the Star Wars? Are you filming? Are you setting up stuff, or what?
Yeah, no, we're writing and designing, and we won't start shooting until 2018, until early next year. And that's a process that has been going on for quite some time, and the amount of layers of thought and emotion that's being poured into it by so many people. It's not just me. I'm not out there alone. Is mind-boggling, and I'm really thrilled with what we're doing. This really marks the last time I'll be thinking about anything else.
Right.
These next few days.
It's kind of, and I don't mean it to be the same thing, but I liken this to when Chris Nolan went off and did Inception, and he was like, listen, I love these Batman movies. They're big, they're fun, but I'm going to go do this kind of weird movie. And I'm not saying The Book of Henry is weird, but it's certainly something that you were able to kind of do to get away from, like you said, these giant institutional movies that people are going to love. And that's what I think is so admirable about how you approach things, is that you'll go and do a movie like The Book of Henry and know that it's good and get out and talk about it, and then you'll go work on Star Wars. Like, you have an amazing life. I'm jealous.
Oh, thank you. Well, mark my words, The Book of Henry is weird. Don't get me wrong. It is, but not in the same way that Inception is. It's a much smaller movie, and it just takes a lot of risk. I've never seen a movie like this, and that's why I had to do it. I feel like it is a true original, and I just couldn't help myself. It was just too cool.
Well, Colin, I hope that you keep making things that make you happy and are creatively fulfilling. And if you need a 6'5", 300-pound, kind of funny radio personality from Iowa to appear in anything, have your people call my person, who would be my wife, and she'd probably let me do whatever.
All right, Tom. That's a tall stormtrooper, but I will consider it.
Buddy, listen, The Book of Henry, everybody's going to see it. They're going to love it, and I wish you continued success, and I hope that you get to enjoy some time with the family before your life gets crazy busy. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Be well, Colin. Bye.